Ja, herzlich willkommen und herzlichen Dank. Und bevor wir zum nächsten Programmpunkt übergehen, erlaube ich mir noch eine kurze Bemerkung, weil ich gesehen habe, dass manche die Healthbox durchstöbert haben. Noch zur Erklärung, die Unterlagen, wir haben 2 Printbroschüren und die Trainingsmaterialien, die hier angekündigt wurden, sind auf der CD zusätzlich. Also sämtliche unterstützende Materialien wie Trainingsunterlagen, Videos finden Sie auf der CD, auf der Sie sozusagen alle Dokumente noch einmal drauf haben. Das nur der Vollständigkeit halber noch vielleicht und zur Information. Ja, ansonsten, wie schon angekündigt, wollen wir jetzt in diesem Programmpunkt unseren Partnern und Partnerinnen die Möglichkeit geben, so ein bisschen ihre Erfahrungen mit der Healthbox zu schildern. Und dazu wechsle ich auch jetzt ins Englische. And I would invite our partners to join me here at these tables. So, in the short introduction, so this is Ines Polzin, she's from the German partner, Nils Christian Westergaard, he's from Denmark, Alessia Fabro from Italy, Karina Kekele, our partner from Finland, Diane Lawson from the UK, and Irina Stanciu from Romania. We all did the testing of the Healthbox material in different settings, target groups, and of course, all of us had different experiences with that. And I would like to start with a general question about the kind of tool. What do you think from your experience? Is the Healthbox a universal tool? Ines, what was your experience? How could you use it, the material?
I would say it is a universal tool. Also, we discovered that some topics at the first glance don't seem to be applicable for our target group. I have to share with you that we are working with, in general, with the age group 50 plus, and perhaps substance misuse is not really their first aim, but in a second step, it was very interesting for them to discover what the kids are doing. So we could implement this topic in the courses and created a kind of intergenerational discourse and exchange of knowledge. That was quite interesting for us.
Diane Lawson, our partner from the UK, she had a completely different target group because you were practicing the Healthbox material with the students or learners in Doncaster College. So what was your experience using the Healthbox material?
Hi, our experience was slightly different in as much as we were working with 2 target groups, one of which was migrant learners coming from right across Europe and beyond, and we had difficulties in terms of them accessing some of the programme in terms of their understanding of the language. So what we were looking at is how we could differentiate the materials so that they were more accessible, and I think the point that we discovered was that the trainer had to be really excited by the materials and really engage with the materials to sort of develop them themselves, so to use them in all manner of ways, not just as they explicitly say within the training package. So for instance, we had a trainer who was working with students whose first language wasn't English, so he developed a way of using artistic materials in order to access the training. So not to be afraid of the work package, but to embrace it and to use it in your own way to develop a specialist way, I guess, of using it to meet your own needs and meet your own learner needs.
So, as it was mentioned before, so the Healthbox material concentrated on six topics. The topics were alcohol and the use or misuse of alcohol, smoking or smoking cessation, then it was about nutrition, it was about physical activity, it was about stress or relaxation, and it was about substance misuse. I would like to know from Alessia, which topics were the most popular topics amongst your learners?
Thank you. I come from an institution, which is a lifelong learning center. So the setting was among adults from 40 to 65 years old, and the majority of them were women. So because of this, and because in Italy, when you talk about healthy lifestyles, you mainly think about healthy nutrition. And also because in Italy we have a lot of food traditions, the topic which worked better was the healthy nutrition topic. And the participants participate very much in this topic because it involved also food traditions and family traditions. And so they created this kind of environmental subject very in deep with their daily lifestyle. Another topic which worked quite well was also the alcohol abuse, because we are a wine region where I live, and we have a lot of initiatives about this. But what was important to say is that the teacher had to use a lot of delicacy while treating this topic.
So thank you. One aim in the development of the Healthbox was to create or to develop very easy-to-use tools that the trainer, that the teacher can very easy implement in the courses and can use in different course settings. So it would be interesting to know how the Healthbox was integrated in classes. Karina.
Part of our test was in classes with people that work in the day, but they didn't have the qualification for their work. That means that they had a whole day in the work, and in the evening they came into the school for education. They were very focused of the qualifications they needed. And in this group, they didn't like to take a break for discussing, for example, alcohol. No, they was focused on their own qualification. So we had to implement it somehow in the theme we had. For example, one evening we had one evening we had the team working team as the theme. We involved the alcohol in this. Of course, we discussed a lot of teamwork, but we held practice also in the lesson. So we divided them in groups, and they had to find a slogan for anti-alcohol. Yes, physical exercises. In this type, they had the focus on teamwork, but they discussed alcohol. What is the problem? Who is drinking alcohol? For who do we do the slogan, and so on? So involving the teamwork theme, we could involve alcohol, and they reflected a lot of it in a positive way, because they knew that we do this for training teamwork.
So talking about someone's health or individual health situation or health issues can be a very personal question, can be a very delicate topic, and maybe very unusual for the target group we address to. Was it easy to motivate the learners? And I would like to ask Rina from Romania.
Okay, so in our case it was not very difficult, not very easy. So we took it as a, let's call it, pedagogical task to motivate trainers, not trainers but learners. So first of all, it was not very difficult because it was something new, so people were interested in something new. In the same time, it was difficult because we haven't done it actually before, so we had to try to find a way to do it and to motivate the students, the learners to be there. So we tested the materials with different in two different groups, people with different educational backgrounds. So the conclusions were actually very interesting for us too. And it can be, the main conclusion can be actually stated like something like this. The lower the educational level, the best results we got. We didn't expect that, but of course we tried to find the explanation for that, and I think it resides more in the fact that the lower the educational level, the more people are actually available for talking, and they are actually willing to share more of their experiences. And if you find a way to actually go there where their personal experience can be openly said and presented, and they are actually involved in the discussion, I think you got them. And it was in the same time when we went to people with a higher educational level, let's call it, they were less disposed to take part in, and they were some kind of reluctant. That was actually the big fight. Unexpected for us, but we found a way actually to involve them into discussing at a general level. So let's say that the method we used was involving their personal knowledge about the subject when related to the low educated people, and talking more in a more general level when talking with people with a high educational level. In the same time, we tried to make sure that the trainers that were in the classes were very, let's call, not very professional, but they knew more than a general trainer, because they could be asked questions to whom they should have had answers, and they had them. And this is why we went to make sure that the pilot is a success. We actually went to two trainers who have medical educational background. So they were perfectly capable to broaden the subject whenever necessary.
Okay, thank you. In Austria, of course, we also did the training and the testing. And one feedback of an Austrian trainer we worked with was that it was much more easy to motivate the target group, the final beneficiaries, especially if they work with unemployed people, to show them a quite practical benefit. For instance, how to save money with living more healthy. So, Niels, do you have similar experience with that?
Yes. In this way, I think that Healthbox is an important tool to create this basic level of information. But in the same way, as you said, that we have also this experience that you need to take a lot of our students at college, but also a lot of these people who were the testing persons in this project, more or less hand by hand, to show how to buy. When do you make the decisions? How to train to take other decisions than you took yesterday? One thing is to have the knowledge, and that's very important to discuss to have the basic knowledge and understanding. But for a lot of our students and for a lot of these test persons, it is still the myth that I even don't go to the department of vegetables because it's so expensive. So just to take them around in the shop and to make the decision and to make these changes in what is easy. Basically, how do you plan your day? When do you do the shopping? So all our students and most people in this tests persons has what we call a contact person who actually sit down with these students and talk. How do you plan your day? When do you make the decisions? When do you buy? And why do you buy in 5 minutes before they close? Because then you don't think anymore. So it is also where education become a part of a therapeutical training. So yes.
But the learners, who are the final beneficiaries of the Healthbox material, but actually the target group for whom we developed the material were the trainers. And so, of course, for them it was also a new topic to work with, probably for most of them. So how was the acceptance, for instance, in Germany of the trainers to work with the Healthbox in the testing?
Well, that was quite different because at first they expected a real toolbox. Grab into the box and take a product out and you find the one and only solution. Well, that's not the concept of the box. You can try all the units and I think they are feasible, they're quite well tested. But the main thing is also to invite the trainers to introduce the topic of health in their sessions very easily. So, and to motivate them and to create a kind of flexibility that they can adapt on a very low level or on a higher level, however, depending on the course group and on the target group and on the collaboration, basis, let's say, that they invent something new. That was not so easy. And to my mind, I think it would be important for some of the trainers because they are really motivated, because in their general daily life and practice they notice that there is a need to train these people and to be on partnership level and to develop their thing with them. They need a special kind of introduction and training perhaps, but that they develop their own ideas. That would be ideal. Some of our trainers, it was very easy because they just had to do this by them, but others had to discover the chances of the Healthbox, let's say.
Okay, thank you. Any other experience from the partners here with the trainers? So maybe we can ask the trainers themselves. So at the end of this small interview, so we have some trainers here. Thanks for them to come. And I would like to ask them about what were the main achievements of the Healthbox. Let's start with Pierina because she's coming. She was from Italy, from Udine, and she did the Healthbox testing. So what would you say were the biggest achievements?
Good morning to everybody. As soon as I heard about the Healthbox project, I was immediately very pleased, and I could already envisage all the achievements and the benefits that would derive from this project. So with a great enthusiasm, I implemented in my different grammar and conversation classes in the English language, of course. Let's say that the first basic achievement was to enable the participants or learners to accept the project, because you can propose something, but you cannot force another person to accept what you propose. So that was a very important first step. And then I found the willingness to actually do what was asked of them. It was very, very positive, and everyone seemed to accept with great interest. We tested all 6 of the health-related issues, and basically there was much awareness raised in the learners. Their curiosity was instant. They wanted to know more. Why should we do this? Why should we do that? And the exercises we used were very informative, and they reiterated the advantages of adopting a healthy lifestyle. There was excellent collaboration and overall enthusiastic, active participation at all levels, with interesting feedback such as suggestions and ideas on how to improve our style of life, let's say. There was also some personal knowledge, but not, let's say, too detailed on certain issues. For example, the more senior participants didn't know much about the substance misuse issue. They thought it was only related to the younger generation, so a lot of them weren't really interested. But when they understood and heard about the effects and what the substances were called, even with their slang terminology, they found it interesting because they could understand something about what the younger people were doing to themselves. And this made them almost worried, let's say, about the situation. The practical creative work that we did involved a deeper research. We made posters, we created slogans, especially on like the alcohol issue, on the issue of nutrition. And these posters are still placed and are still on the walls of our classrooms. And this has two beneficial effects. One, for the persons who actually did the work to create the posters. The other, for the other students or learners, let's say, who utilize the same classrooms, they are interested in reading what is written and they start questioning, what does this mean? What can we do? Can we adopt these slogans, this information in our own life? So it had a dual effect, let's say. And the testing period went very well. Some learners had, during the end of this period, which was over the 4-month period, some of the learners had already implemented some of the changes in their lives. And the only problem was the temptation to go back to old unhealthy habits, let's say, but they were holding on. And to end off just with a little formula, to be well informed equals to be well aware, and to be well aware means to be more inclined to make the relevant changes for a healthier lifestyle. On the whole, it was very positive and we really enjoyed doing it. Thank you.
So thank you very much. So you can see there's a lot of enthusiasm about this material. Another impression maybe from Romania?
Hello, I am Andrea. Congratulations for organizing. In our countries, we have a saying, an apple a day will add a day for your life. We have a delicious apple in the name of a project. So, in my opinion, the results will be on long term. It was the first time when me and my colleagues introduced issue about health and education for a healthy life in the middle of other courses. At the beginning, the students didn't see the goal of these exercises because in our country it's not normal to do anything else than curricula. So, at the beginning we had a problem. But at the end of exercises, for everyone it was clear that we have, all of us, we have a major role for our health. And I mean, I say mental and physical health. I consider that entire work in this project represents the first brick in order to change the individual and institutional role in society. So, congratulations again for this important project.
Thank you very much, and thank you very much for all of you. First for working with us, and first for coming out here and presenting your experiences. And I think we will continue with a coffee break.